This video is about staple brushes that you need whether you're trying to start a kit, whether you're just new to makeup, whether you're trying to not even become a makeup artist, but just trying to advance in makeup because you like makeup. I mean, anybody can have these brushes. I think everybody needs to have these brushes because um, they're such staples in the application process of how you put on certain products. Of course, everybody has started at one point in their life, no matter if you were a little girl or if you just started learning makeup late or learning techniques late, shall I say, about like the little sponge brushes. I hate them. I hate them with every fiber that I have in me. And it's so funny that I think about when I was a little girl and I used to use those because I was like 8. I was like 6. Like my mom sold Mary Kay for 30 years. So, that is the reason why and how I got into makeup because she was selling makeup from before I was even born. So when I was born and then me getting older, I would watch her with her workshops and watch her, when she would go to conferences and doing her skincare workshops and stuff like that, and warm chattering and how to apply makeup and all that. So I've been exposed to makeup my entire life. I'm gonna start with eyes. And the reason why I'm gonna start with the eyes is just because I think it's a lot quicker. Okay, so I think there is a couple brushes that are staple products that you need to use. And these are them. I think I have another one in here somewhere. Yep, this is another one. These are kind of the same thing. I gave you a different option with these. These are just flat shader brushes, flat eyeshadow brushes. I gave you options. This one is from Elf. And this was like $1 or like $3. And you can get it wherever it's sold at Elf. You can find it at Target mainly. But this is another option of this. This is actually just a Mary Kay brush. But of course, shader brushes are shader brushes. You can find them anywhere. But these are a staple for me. I think this is a staple for any makeup artist or anyone who's into makeup, because there's sometimes where you need a more dense brush that you need to put on just the eyelid right here, and that is what this brush is used for. Sometimes it can be used for glitter if you're putting on glitter and you need more of a dense brush to put glitter on. But these are definitely staple brush for eyeshadows. And again, they are just the brushes that you use on your lid. You don't use this brush to shade in a crease or anything like that. You use these brushes just for your eyelids, just to pack on and intensify your base color or your pop of color, shall we say, glitter or any of the case may be. So these are staple for eyeshadows. These two are much of the same, so I'll just talk about them both, and obviously they're dirty because I just did my last video. But these are both large shader brushes, and you can tell the different sizes in them. One is a little bigger and one's a little slimmer. This one is a little bigger and obviously this one is a little slimmer. But these are both used for shader brushes. So these are both used to accent the crease right here and to add color and different berries of colors. I'm only showing you 2 right now, but I have a million of these in my kit. And the reason why is you can never have enough, especially if you're doing a bridal party or if you're doing whatever, a fashion shoot or whatever. You have to have multiple ones of these because these are your key players. These are the ones that are absolutely fabulous at blending, even if you don't use this to put a product on, but you just use it to blend everything together. These are fabulous for. They're light, they're fluffy. These two are 6+, and again, I have used 6+, just because when you're starting to build your kit, you may not have money to spend on all this stuff. You may not have money to spend $20 a lipstick on, just to build your kit. So start small. Start with drugstore products. Start with basic brush sets, but that include like your key players, include large powder brushes and contour brushes and blush brushes that include that, but they could be cheap for right now. You don't have to jump in purchasing Sigma. You don't have to jump in purchasing MAC. You don't have to jump in purchasing Mary Kay brushes. Those are very expensive, especially when you come to a brush set. I mean, those are like 20 bucks a brush, per brush. So, you know, you don't have to jump in that way. Do I suggest that you invest in some of those eventually down the line? Absolutely. There's still more brush investing that I need to do. There's more of a lot of growth that, of course, I need to do. And I constantly am learning within this craft and learning new products and learning everything. But I definitely suggest that no matter what kit that you purchase or what brush set you purchase, you need to have 2 shader brushes in those in order for you to have proper application. Last key player for the eyes is this little dense fluffy brush. This is also from 6 Plus, and I purchased the 6 Plus set on Amazon for like 30 bucks, and it was like a 30-piece set, and I put in my kit. But this is awesome for getting into the crease. So this is right here. You can use this for a top one. You can use the great thing about this brush is that this is a multi-purpose brush. This multi-purpose brush you can use to put on glitter. You can use to put on your base color on your eyelid. You can use to intensify your crease. Or you can use to just do your top color up here just to have your transition color. This is definitely a key player for me. I use this brush every single application that I use, no matter what type of look I'm doing. And this brush, again, you can find it in brush sets or you can find it by yourself. I know BH Cosmetics have a lot of different single brushes that are cheap. They're cheap. And I love BH Cosmetics. I think they are an awesome brand. I think that especially as you build your kit, as you advance your kit, as you're in your kit, your prime of being a makeup artist or even having variety of the high-end expensive stuff and the middle and the lower end. I think all of it is great to have in your kit because you never know what you can use, and a lot of different things are different on different people. I know, like, sometimes I like using drugstore products on some of my clients just because they look so fab. I love a Maybelline palette, or I love a L'Oreal palette. Not saying that I won't use a MAC palette or I won't use a Lorac palette or Urban Decay. I still may, but I'm a firm believer in drugstore stuff. I am. I don't know. I am a firm believer in having expensive stuff in quality and then also having drugstore stuff so that eventually you can keep supplementing your kit, because expensive stuff, that mess gets expensive. Like MAC gets expensive. And if you have something that is a duplicate, or if you have something that can be in place of that for that time being until you get the next, your next MAC powder or next MAC foundation or whatever the case may be, you have, something there. So with your brushes, start small. You don't have to jump in deep. Trust me, you don't have to jump in deep. And these little brushes, like I said, you can find on bhcosmetics.com, or you can find at the drugstore, or you can just purchase in like a regular kit. Just make sure it has one of these in it, a fluffy brush for you. All right, so now to the face. Okay, so I'm going to start with the main face stuff. So I would definitely say for the main face stuff is definitely these two. A stippling brush, which is obviously dirty because I use it all the time. A stippling brush, and this is pretty much used so that when you apply foundation or you apply concealer, or even when you apply your contouring and your blush and you just want to blend to make sure everything is blended together. This is what this is for. I never add product to this brush. Never. This for me is more so used as just what it is, a blending brush, so that my face can properly be blended together, so there's no harsh lines with my blush, there's no harsh line with my concealer or my foundation. It's just everything is just thoroughly, flawlessly blended. This is what I use this for. This is a Sonia Kashuk brush. I got it at Target. This was probably about 12 bucks. But of course, you can find this anywhere. You can go to Ulta and go to the brush section and just find you a large stippling brush. A large stippling brush is definitely what I would say is a must-have. Another one, of course, is a powder brush, a large powder brush, just for adding powder to the specific areas that you need to set with your foundation. Adding powder to wipe away any excess product that you have. I use this a lot to wipe away my setting powder for Ben Nye. But a large powder brush is definitely a must. Um, for me, I would say a flat top brush. This is the main one that I'm using right now, but I do have Sigma's flat top kabuki. But any flat top brush that, for me, this is a key player just because I use this to apply my foundation. You can use a beauty blender. You don't have to. Beauty blender for me, it is one of my tops, but because I'm talking about brushes right now, I didn't include it in that. But this is definitely a key player for me because obviously this is how I apply my foundation. I have plenty of these and I have them in different brands. You can find any flat top brush in any brand as well. This is another one, a large tapered brush. This large tapered brush I use for my highlight, just to highlight on the highest points of my face and then also in my highlighting areas on my chin, nose, and forehead. This is great because it's very slim, it's very slender, and it's tapered. So it's not a wide brush that is getting product everywhere. It's just getting product pretty much where you want it to get product, which is very awesome. I love that I can control my product with this brush. So for me, this is definitely a key player. This has got to be my all-time favorite brush in the world. In the world. This is a 6 Plus brush, and it is a small tapered brush, and this fits perfectly for my little face in when I contour. This is just a perfect size for me. Like, this is this big. So see, it's little. It's little. It's like a dime size. It's like size of a dime, but it is, I think, the best brush, and I take it everywhere with me. The brushes that I'm showing you today are the brushes that I travel with. That no matter where I'm going, no matter if I'm spending a night at my best friend's house or wherever, my fiance's house, whatever, I take these brushes with me. This is a contouring brush. You can use it for whatever, but I use it to contour. I think that you definitely need to have a contouring brush, no matter if it's a slanted brush, if it's a small one, if it's just a regular, big, kind of medium-sized contour brush. But I think that definitely a contour brush is what is much needed in a kit. You have to be able to separate your products because you don't want things blending together. You don't want to use a contour brush and then go back and use it to highlight, because now the dark color on this brush is now on your highlighting brush. So now you can't, your dark color is up here mixed with your highlight, and it just, So make sure to always separate your brushes and separate what you use them for. This, again, I love this. This is also 6 Plus, so I got it in that kit that I got from Amazon. But this is definitely a go-to, must-have, my favorite brush ever in the world. My last two brushes are blush brushes. Well, no, this is a setting brush. Sorry. This is a setting brush. I think this is a definitely must-have because this brush is so little that I think it's perfect for getting into these areas here when you need to set. I think it's perfect for just setting up here and setting on your nose and even on your chin. I think that this little brush is a definitely must-have just because it's so little and it gets into the areas that other brushes can't get into, like under your eyes, getting right into those lines under your eyes to make sure that your concealer doesn't crease, that your concealer sets and not creases. There you go. So this is a go-to. And then last but not least is definitely a blush brush. This is by e.l.f., as you can see. I have plenty of these as well. This is another option for my 6 Plus palette. This is a blush brush as well. But I definitely think that smaller blush brushes are a go-to just because you need, like I said, to be able to separate all of your brushes for different products so that they don't mesh together. You can use this as a contouring brush as well and then use it as a blush brush. I wouldn't necessarily suggest doing that usually because your contour has to be darker. Unless you're using like a bronzer or something like that and you plan on just using your bronzer and your contour and that it. But if you're going to use like a pink blush and then like a dark, deep cream contour and then you're contouring and now the cream is on your contour brush and then you're using it as a blush, I think you should separate it. But these are definitely my key players. these are must-have. I think that they should be in every kit. And yeah, that's it.